Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. So now, today, it's March 31st, but in all honesties, I feel like that it'd be the right time to come right on back here. Simply because of, well, this room itself, the weather has gotten somewhat better, but I can't ultimately expect it to be as good as possible. No, because that comes later pretty much. But what I'm going to talk about today is not necessarily going to be about meteorology or anything relative to weather or temperature for our own sakes. But what I will be talking about today is Pixar. Yes, the super mega ultra ginormous sized CGI corporation that has bent on destroying history with their cinematic masterpieces of all sorts. From the Toy Story franchises to the new upcoming films out there, like the new film known as Onward, and soon we'll have another one for 2020 called Soul. But until that happens, let's just go ahead and rejoice at the fact that many things out there have come about, and that there's so many things out there that we can probably go ahead and talk about in regards to Pixar. But in my theory, it's anyone's guess. Pixar, of course, is one company that will go out and create all sorts of good films out there. But by far, their worst film that they've got, or could I just say their least best, would probably be Coco. And that's mostly in regards to, well, I mean, some original projects can't be the best. Because when the first Toy Story came out, of course it wasn't the best in terms of how much it grossed in the box office overnight and on its opening weekend, but as time went on with the sequel to Toy Story, and then with a third one, and now with a fourth one ranging at just over $1 billion in the box office, not only because of 24 years of inflation rates, but also for how much attendance numbers started to come back ever since it had first been confirmed to have gone into production. But of course, that was one film that had gone through many different delays. Mostly because of the fact that, well, Coco, for one, had already stepped up and was just about finished through production, while Toy Story 4 was kind of just left for a little while. Eventually, production came back on into it, but then Incredibles 2 managed to take over for the entire year of 2018. And so, when Toy Story 4 was finally ready, we managed to catch a glimpse on that particular date, June 21st, 2019. It was probably one of the biggest spectacles we could probably ever experience in modern-day Pixar history, in comparison to how they first ran through with Toy Story in '95. CGI has certainly gone through a lot of great new advancements. Not to mention, many different crew members there have been working there pretty much since day one. Director John Lasseter, for one, has definitely been well regarded for being a director of a lot of Pixar films. And we can mostly thank Lasseter for that, but the many other people out there that we got today, including another director known as Josh Cooley, who was responsible for Toy Story 4's directing, compared to the other three, I mean, that was just amazing. It was just amazing how Cooley could pretty much put together such a modern-day masterpiece like that compared to Lasseter, but who knows? A Part 5 is going to be on the rise soon, though. It could be within the next 5 years, or even 10 years like it had been. So, what we can hope from all of this is that we can at least find out what is going to happen with Toy Story in the future. I do hope to have a Part 5. And what I could do is I could just simply talk about the kind of plot line I had settled up for it, and the fact that, well, I've yet to present it to Pixar themselves, but that may not be for a little while. But until all of that happens, I am going to at least hope that Toy Story 5 turns out to be another great masterpiece, just like with Part 4. But let's also not forget about Disney+. They're offering a lot of exclusive content that actually has had some Toy Story involved, including Lamp Life. which is set just after the events of Toy Story 4. When I first saw it, I was kind of just captivated at the life of Bo Peep in between part 2 and part 4, pretty much. It was a long run, but you know what? I guess we still have a long ways to go before we can probably continue talking about, well, what Toy Story 5 can probably go through, but as time will go on, let's just see what happens. But until then, I'm Jay Nowak, this is HJN, and if you want to see more go down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.